Hello Power Rangers fans and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today I'm taking a look at the Action Q Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Red Ranger figure from Innovation Point. So this is pretty cool. I'm happy to have this in my collection here. I think it came out, I want to say like November, December, so it's still relatively new. But basically, I got this for a couple of reasons. First of all, I am a huge fan of Mighty Morphin Red. I might be putting up a picture right now of my kind of Mighty Morphin Red collection. So if there's anything of a new Mighty Morphin Red and a new figure scale or something like that, I'm definitely at least tempted to get it. But this is the same figure as this one, which I'm bringing the box in right now, which I took a look at back in, I think, September. It was pretty shortly after Power Morphicon, but this is the same company and same line that did this Dino Fury Red figure, which I took a look at on the channel back then, so I will be linking the video to that there. And it's a cool little line. It's basically just kind of this little stylized chibi kind of Power Ranger figure that has a little bit of pretty good articulation and just this kind of a nice little display piece. And basically for this, they started the line with Dino Fury Red, which was kind of a very interesting choice, and the second entry was Mighty Morphin Red. Now, while this one came out, I think in like July, August of 2022 or something like that, I want to say, this one is kind of in a sequence of Mighty Morphin ones that they've kind of just released back to back to back, because the Green Ranger is one that's out already, and so is Lord Draken, and then I think they're doing an Armored Red. At least you can put the shield on Red. I'm not sure if that's just what it is or if they're actually doing an Armored Red. If they are doing a separate Armored Red, I will definitely probably pick that one up as well. But here we go, it's the same kind of figure line. I got mine from Tokullectibles. I think that's the only store that I know of that sells this particular figure line. And this was $38 shipped from them, which I don't think is super great, but also not super terrible here. But go ahead and compare the boxes as we start out here. So as you can see, they are the same height, but they definitely have kind of the look or appearance of their respective seasons, which I think is really cool. In fact, I would love to see more of these from just different seasons, because I really want to see how they would handle the different boxes, because I love that you have the lightning bolt from the Dino Fury suits and then the iconic Power Rangers logo, and you kind of have the more explosion kind of packaging. It's sort of like Hasbro's packaging for the toys, but this is definitely the Bandai kind of, you know, retro green packaging, which I think looks just really nice. Now, Dino Fury Red was significantly a little bit more of a thicker box, which for some reason the logo is facing this way and this one and this way and that one, but this one it said Red Ranger. On the side here you have the same kind of Bandai retro packaging, so Power Rangers, Red Ranger, and you get the 5 of them there from kind of the original 90s style packaging with those power coins on their chests and stuff, which is really cool. On the other side you get the same kind of thing. On the bottom it's just a bunch of copyright stuff for this one and then the same kind of logo on this one. So I would say this one is probably maybe the overall nicer-ish box, but I definitely do like the retro inspiredness of this one. And then on the back, we had Dino Fury Red there, and then same kind of sticker from Innovation Point and all that kind of stuff. So we'll go ahead and move that out of the way. So of course, the Power Rangers Red Ranger, it says Jason Lee Scott was the first Red Ranger of the modern era, officially named as such, and I almost read that wrong, as well as the leader of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And it says Action Q introduced, this figure is aiming to present the character in a cute version with movable joints, and a variety of replacement parts are available for different outlooks for fun. So this does come with, you, I don't know if you can even see it in there, but this does have a power sword, it has a blade blaster, and I believe all 3 modes, and it has an action figure stand there. So let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at the Action Q Mighty Morphin Red. Okay, so here is the Red Ranger Action Q figure out of the box here, and I'm pretty impressed with this. I really do like what kind of the whole setup of accessories and just kind of the whole little layout and look of this figure. It's pretty nice. There is one design element about this that I definitely do not like, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it yet. We'll definitely get to that point, but here's everything you get out of the box. So you get a bunch of swappable hands, the power sword, all 3 versions of the blade blaster, and then you get this stand piece with this whole arm piece that you just have to kind of assemble a little bit. But here is the product manual. So while this is obviously a Chinese company, Innovation Point, making this, this is officially licensed by Hasbro, so that is a pretty cool thing that they let them do. And like I said, I really like to see other things that aren't Mighty Morphin. I mean, the fact that we got Dino Fury, I think was a really cool thing. And that's kind of what drew me to the line in general. And of course we would get Mighty Morphin eventually. But right here just kind of shows you how to assemble the whole stand. The fact that you can holster the blade blaster, all the accessories there. And there's just a blank piece of paper on the back. So nothing too crazy. It's still nice to have nonetheless. So I'm going to go ahead and start with kind of the swappable hands here just to kind of get the most boring thing out of the way. But you do have a weapon holding hand for his left hand and his right hand. And then you also get kind of a sort of kind of choppy hand, or kind of just sort of like this gripping hand, I guess, but you can't like hold anything with it for both his left and his right. And then out of the box, he just comes with these default fists, so you have to swap it if you want to have him hold anything, but that shouldn't be too difficult. So these figures are pretty nice. I do like them. It looks like he's essentially sharing, I will go ahead and bring him back in here, basically the exact same mold as Dino Fury Red, which I would expect, down to, is this the little peg back there and stuff, I think? Because he has like this peg hole back here, and I'm trying to see if Dino Fury Red has the same. Okay, actually no. So there is a little peg hole back there that Dino Fury Red does not have, but they are still very similar figures nonetheless. So we're going to move Zato back over there and get his stand out of here, but I like it. It's not like a die-cast figure or anything like that. It's all just plastic, but it has a good feel to it, you know. For being, you know, reasonably expensive, you would kind of want that to be the case here, but articulation-wise, you do have this head that moves pretty nicely on this ball joint, so you can look all over the place. I mean, it moves quite well. And I'm curious if you, so it's pretty easy to take that off. I wouldn't do that all the time though, but I'm curious if that's, like I said, I can't remember if you actually can swap the shield or if there's a whole separate release for the shield later on, but I would have to check on that. But basically, continue with the articulation, you get a little bit of a rotation there. You can bend it up and down. They did continue to paint the diamond underneath there a little bit, which I think is a really nice touch if you want to get some more dynamic poses. I really do appreciate that. Back here, you can move the arms up there like that. They kind of just rotate all over the place there, and then they can bend right there. And then the hands are on a ball joint, which they are pretty simple to swap, I would say. So we'll go ahead and grab one of the weapon holding hands because I'm going to have him hold the power sword, and that went in there very easily. So that is a nice touch. Down here at the legs, you can move them back and forth like that. You can rotate them there. You can bend them. It is a double jointed knee. And then the feet have a little bit of movement. You can at least rotate them. So there is that. So, you know, not like the most dynamic figures, but it's still just a cool little display piece nonetheless. I do like the little stylized look to it, and I'm happy to have this in my collection and have it to be on my shelf. However, the one thing I said I didn't like design-wise, his Power Morpher is gold. So it's really strange to me. But first of all, did they actually sculpt it to say Power Rangers? Oh yeah, let's try to zoom in on that the best I can. Look at that. They didn't mold in the coin detailing, but they did mold in Power Rangers, which I'm going to assume they didn't mold in the coin detailing because you can kind of pretend it's either him with the dragon shield or without it. But what's really strange is that, because like it is technically show accurate for him to have a gold morpher, just like Tommy's morpher, whenever he's using the dragon shield, but obviously not when he's just regular Red Ranger. And typically, I feel like a lot of figure lines have kind of sacrificed the accuracy of the gold morpher compared to the accuracy of the silver morpher, because there's been times where like Tommy's figures have had silver morphers when they're always supposed to be gold. I've never really seen it the other way around, where a Ranger has a gold morpher when it's supposed to be silver. So that's really strange, and I don't really like that. But to be fair, Armored Red is one of my all-time favorite suit designs. So is just this, but Armored Red is one of my favorite power-up designs. So I would definitely like to have an Armored Red display here, whether it's its own individual figure or if I get green and give him the shield. But just kind of a weird design choice there. Now you also kind of saw there the belt buckle, or the belt buckle, the holster for the Blade Blaster can also move out of the way a little bit, and they did paint the lines and stuff on there just like the remaster figures have for the Lightning Collection. So, you know, pretty nice figure overall. Like I said already in this video, I really do like it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the weapon accessories. So here is the Power Sword, which looks very, very pretty, gorgeously detailed, but they did not mold the power coin symbols in there, which is perfectly fine. It still looks absolutely gorgeous. It actually is reasonably sharp, so you actually could probably stab yourself with that a little bit. So just be a little careful if you're getting this figure for yourself. And then we have the blaster mode of the Blade Blaster, which actually does say Jew Ranger on it, which is a really cool little detail. And that is painted perfectly. It's also really big for him. I mean, this is like basically the same kind of one that the 3-0 figure came with. I took a look at like a year ago for Mighty Morphin Red. It's that kind of good amount of quality. But that one actually could transform on its own. This one, they actually just included the Blade one as a separate one, which this is probably, I want to say, the nicest version of this form of the Blade Blaster I've ever had in figure form. Because I feel like a lot of times they kind of make the blade a little dinky, or they actually try to do the whole mechanism where it could fold back in. But here I think they got a good length on it, they got a good paint job on it. And since it's so big, I feel like you could actually probably give this to like your 3-0 figure or something like that, and it probably wouldn't look too bad. It would look pretty bad for like a Lightning Collection figure or something, but it's gorgeously detailed. And then you do get the holstered version as well, which is also a very nice detail to have, which I always appreciate that. So we'll go ahead and take that, and slot that into the holster, which I might have done backwards. And there it is. It can holster in there pretty easily, and then I will go ahead and just kind of show off. The hands are just sort of a rubbery kind of material. You still want to be careful with the sword, of course. You don't want to like snap it, but it's pretty easy to just kind of, you know, move his hand a little bit and get the power sword in there. And then you have your Action Q Mighty Morphin Red all ready to fight. And I actually kind of stabbed myself with the sword there a little bit because it actually is reasonably sharp. So there he is. That's really nice. I do just like that on my shelf, and having him with Dino Fury Red, which I love that Dino Fury Red came with this really cool effect piece for his Chroma Fury Saber. Knew that was going to happen, but here are our 2 Red Rangers so far. And like I said, they've done green for Mighty Morphin. They've done Draken, which is a really cool detail. I don't know if they're going to do any more. I hope that they would do some more, because I would definitely be down to get more of these for the collection. But yeah, that's a pretty good start to this line so far, I'd have to say. So the final accessory that Mighty Morphin Red has is, of course, the figure stand, which is the exact same one as Zato's, except for the fact that the Power Rangers logo is done in black this time. On Zato's, it was done in red, which you can kind of see there. But basically, it's the same kind of mechanism. You just, it's sort of like a Tamashii stand from like Bandai. You just take it there, and then there's kind of a grip piece. We'll kind of bend it all over the place, but you can, there's a good amount of range onto this arm. And then you can take the figure, kind of open these up. This piece kind of goes underneath the crotch there. And then I guess, I'm trying to figure out how you would do this. So I guess it would still grip it with the Blade Blaster being holstered in there. And then you can kind of do some sort of like, I'm not good at posing figures, as you probably know from Tokullectibles, but you can kind of do some sort of, in the air pose or something. I don't know what is happening there, but that is kind of what I got going on here with this. But I like this a lot. I can highly recommend this if you're a fan of Mighty Morphin Red, or if you're just kind of a fan of sort of unique and out there figure lines for Power Rangers. This is something a little bit different than what we typically get, and I think Innovation Point bringing these out is pretty cool, and I want to support this line. So I really like this figure quite a bit. So let's go ahead and wrap it up and kind of put it on the spin table and see it and talk about it a little bit more. Alright, and with that, that is going to do it for my video review of the Innovation Point Action Q Mighty Morphin Red Ranger figure. And I definitely can recommend this, as I said earlier in this video. I think it's just a nice little piece to have for your collection. It's just something a little bit different, a little bit more out there, and I want to kind of encourage them to do more figures like this. It's just really cool. There are a lot of times they're taking photos of them on like Twitter. They share around like fan photos and stuff like that. So they definitely seem to like people's inputs on these figures and seeing video reviews and everything as well. So I think this is great. I definitely kind of want to pick up Green and Draken as well. If you guys liked this video, let me know down in the comments below. Oh wow, I think my turntable just died of batteries. Well, that was weird timing, but yeah, my turntable just died. But basically, let me know down in the comments below, do you have this figure for your collection? Do you have the Dino Fury Red one? Which ones would you like to see Innovation Point make? And anything else about it down in the comments below. I want to hear about it. There will be a Tokullectibles link in the description below to pick one up for yourself, as they're the only store I can think of that actually sells this. So I think $38 for this is a little expensive, but at the same time, I don't think it's absolutely terrible. That's with free shipping as well. So I definitely can recommend it. So like I said, I want to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. And until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LightningFigPR, and I will see you all later. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brandon Overland, Maji Yellow, Redstone MCPC, Comics 1017, James Dartley, Monster Rocket, John Luke, Eric Berry, Tyler Brzezski, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, and Pyramidas. You can support Tokullectibles for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, link in the description below.